My guest today is Peter Paul Parker. He is a Dahn Master in the mind, body, spirit arena, a musician and sound healer. He works with both the energy and physical body. Peter is a Ki Gong champion, winning the international competition with the British team in Korea in 2016. He runs a successful coaching business, achieving amazing results with highly sensitive people and empaths using the dream method. He set up a local charity called Brighter Living, helping the elderly with their health and well-being using Ki Gong and meditation. He has also worked with schools locally, helping students connect with themselves. He has launched the Bright Beings Academy online internationally, which incorporates everything that he does to empower people to reach their full potential as human beings. Peter's motto is, journey inwards, succeed outwards. I love that motto. Welcome to the show, Peter. Lovely to have you here. How are you doing today?
Yeah, very good, very good. The sun's out and I feel really good. I feel really calm and happy, so good.
Good. Well, I have to say every time I meet you, you always look very calm. Anyway, so because my show is called Unbroken, the first question that I ask all of my guests is, what does the word unbroken mean to you, Peter?
It triggers off many, many memories from the past of me when I'm in a situation which looks like it's the end of the road. It looks like it's all coming to an end, which I've been through many of those. It's that indomitable spirit, that consciousness inside of me to go, this isn't it. This isn't the end of this. There's more to do. There's more to happen here. And from the breakup of bands, from the death of my family to all the different things that I went through, I thought, no, there's more, there's more, there's more. So just to keep going. And I used to focus on the fall, but now I'm more focused on the comeback, because we all have these difficult moments in life. Some people call them the dark night of the soul, but it happens, and it's going through that so that you actually inside of you is unbroken. And they say that they actually talk about it in the Vedas, about how the human body is set up, i.e. you have your five horses, which is like the five senses of the body. You have the reins as the mind, and you have the charioteer, or the charioteer is the ego. The intellect. Then you have the chariot as your ego, which you can polish up and make as shine as you want. But there's something behind all of that that just observes all of it that's been happening to you. And in ancient culture, they called it either the soul or your life force or your experience, that you're actually experiencing this. And to me, that is what's unbroken. And the body fixes itself, it heals itself, it recycles itself. So as long as you're in contact with that unbroken side of you, personally, I feel these things that happen to us can be overcome, and you can actually feel better about yourself.
You mentioned a few things there that we'd like to speak about. You talked about the death of your family and bands breaking up. So you were quite young, really, weren't you, when your parents were dying? How old were you?
Yeah, I had an idyllic family really set up, but I noticed there was something wrong with how my brothers were interacting with each other. There was quite a sort of aggressive energy. And I personally just thought that was wrong straight away. And my mother became my best friend because of that. And my father became disabled when I was 10. And then my mother had to look after four of the younger boys and my father, obviously. And she developed gallstones. They weren't taken out of her gallbladder properly. So she died of cancer at 11. I was sent off to a boarding school at that point, and I was writing terrible letters back to my father and one of my older brothers saying this is hell, because there was paedophiles happening there. They're trying to make little boys play with each other and things like that. It was absolutely vile situation. And I'd just been thrown into that from losing my best friend, my mother, and then having to fight my way through that. And then I left. I went to obviously the upper schools, which I thought, okay, I'm going to try and impress my father by getting a good education. So I put my left brain into action, got lots of O levels, and then got quite a good education through that up to A level standard. Left, went into the sales world, and then my father died at 19. I thought, I can't do any more of this. I just can't do it. So I became a musician. I thought, this is what I really love doing, is playing music. And I found with the music that I was playing, I was at a high level. So I was improvising with the musicians that I was playing with on stage. And that, I realized now, I didn't realize at the time, that was like what we would call a meditation, because you're really in that moment and letting the moment unfold with other people around you, which I
Yeah, and
found
when
amazing.
you're in that moment, you can't think of anything else, can you? You
No,
can't think of all the grief and all the trauma that you've been through.
no.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing for me to do that. I just loved improvising, and people realized I was a workaholic because I couldn't sit and talk to people for too long if they started to bring up sort of little niggles and problems, things like that. I didn't want to think that my problems were worse than them, but it just became awkward because I was so sensitive, and so many people were not that sensitive in the music business, quite brusque rock sort of career. But I learned how to drink to bury that. So Peter, oh yeah, he's a great guy. He can drink alone and he's funny most of the time.
When you bury that, bury being in that environment, but it's also burying all the other stuff really as well that we don't
Yeah,
face, isn't it? And becoming a workaholic is just an avoidance tactic really, isn't it?
of course. Yeah. And I didn't know this at the time, but luckily I had lots of energy and like that unbroken spirit. So okay, I'm going to do that. And I realized when I thought of doing that, it was all force. It was like a lot of male energy pushing, not worrying about what other people were doing around me, because this is what I want and this is it. And I realized that was wrong in itself, but the actual experience was right, because it actually opened up a lot of doors for me. But it stopped very abruptly as well, because I realized how fake it was becoming. And
Music world.
yeah, for me anyway. I know a lot of people have a lot of success in it, but for me, it was becoming more about the image rather than about the music. So in the Ki Gong that I teach, we do little exercises like pushing your palm and fist away from each other like this. And then when people bring it back into the body and start doing it into their body, they find it really, really difficult. And to me, that's part of the conditioning of school. Of our minds are always taught to go out, always taught to go out. And when we take the journey inside, and I personally feel from speaking to a lot of people who've gone through lots of trauma, they go in. At some point, they go in.
Yes, we spent years avoiding that, but eventually we realised actually going in. For me, it was the way in was the way out. That's how I kind of.
Yeah. You go in and you go, oh, you're suddenly shocked. And to me, it was the first few classes. I'd trained in martial arts before, but it was the first few classes of my Ki Gong. I was realising my stress and anxiety were really melting away. And I thought, whoa, this is good. And it took years to unravel the trauma. And it got to the point where I was so good. I was in Korea, actually 2016, with the British team in Korea. And we went into a meditation cave. And it was all about getting rid of your childhood traumas. So I thought, oh, I'm getting quite good at this. So my meditation was almost like a pod going through time. It was incredible. And then I found this place where I thought, gee, I never saw that. At the age of 19, my two eldest brothers had taken my father's estate and got themselves houses out of that, and also got themselves an airline pilot and a chiropractic career out of the estate. And the four younger boys were left with nothing. I was second youngest. Okay. And I suddenly put my hands on my heart.
They looked after themselves.
Yeah. I put my hands on my heart and I forgave them in that moment. I put my hands on my heart and we used the Ho'oponopono. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So you're literally saying sorry to your soul for being so angry at them, because I didn't realize I was so angry at them. And I did this.
I can never pronounce the Ho'oponopono. It's a Hawaiian mantra, isn't it? And you can just sit and just say it whenever you're stressed. It is very, all of the work you do is very connecting, isn't it, and grounding.
Beautiful. It's beautiful when you actually start to say sorry to yourself for the reactions that you have, and then you start to respond to life, which is, I think, what we're supposed to do 90% of the time, is respond to life. And we react to it. So doing that. And then I walked out of the cave, and my mentor, Hope, she's a tiny little Korean woman, she looked at me and said, "What happened to you in there?" And I said, well, and I explained the situation. She said, "Wow," he said, "you look 10 years younger." It's all the stress had been released from my face. And
you said it like it was so easy that I just chose to forgive them in that moment. How easy really was it? Because people often ask me, how do you get to forgive? For me, it was a big process, but it seemed to just happen in an instant.
No, this is after 5-6 years of training.
Okay. So you made it sound quite easy there. We have to remember that. It's good. I'm pleased to hear that.
No, forgiveness is an enormous subject. And I know you're big on forgiveness, and to me, it's never, you never accept what's happened in the respect that this is wrong, and you never condone it because this is wrong. But for you to forgive, to realize that, to me, it's almost like raising or tuning your consciousness to a higher level where you can look at the perpetrator of what they've done to you and go, wow, were you really that position, in that position to do that to me? What a mess you must have been in to do that to me.